Here we are, punters, back for part 2.
Emerald.
Emerald, at the Emerald.
Here we are, always as racing pub.
I looked this morning, DK, at the weather in Melbourne. It was 26 in Melbourne today, so it's beautiful. Bendigo, 36.
Yeah, I just heard them say that this morning.
Just up the road, really. And it's 10 degrees difference.
Chuka, high 30s, Mildura. So, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Victoria, mate. That's it. But race callers lunch on the day. I always see a racing head in here. I just saw Cretters and Matt Hill and a few others in there. So Greg Miles and whatnot. So there you go.
There it is. Always an interesting assortment at the.
Always run into someone. So Mike Sheen was here last week on the next table to us and things. So it's always good. Yeah. You always see people here at the Emerald. It's good.
So I thought we could have a bit of a discussion about the official price, DK. So the VAP in Victoria, NAP in New South Wales, and so because we had a few different emails about it. Good man that gets my stuff. Brett wrote to me a while ago. He had a bad experience with Mosh Music, I think it was, where the fluck was significantly below what the price that most of the corporates were at the time the race jumped.
It can happen.
Which can happen. So the official price, just for the punters that aren't aware, it's once upon a time it used to be the fluck taken off the APN with the on-course bookmakers.
Had to be three bookies, three rails bookmakers had to be the price.
And it was pretty fair generally. I mean, sometimes the bookies got up to a bit of mischief when there was large top fluck
money, and there was also a couple of bookies who like to chase things out.
Yeah.
So all the other bookies who got money for it, they widened the price out, and they didn't have a liability on them. Also, all the other bookies who got this top fluck money, and so it could be a bit problematic, but it was a good system and it worked well for a long time.
It did, but then the industry chose that because I suppose the focus of betting moved to the online world, and to put the official price in the hands of the corporates by way of dynamic odds.
By way of dynamic odds, yeah.
And they've come up with this system where basically the official price is now taken off. It's either the 5th or the 6th best corporate. It's really nonsense. So if you're betting official price on any, so the various products, so whether it's the fluck, best of the best, anything that includes the official price in that final 20 minutes of betting, you're basically taking the 5th best or the 6th best price, whichever one it is, available during that time, provided that the price is displayed by those 5 bookmakers for at least 40 seconds. So often in the last 30 seconds of betting, it can go crazy. And that's almost irrelevant to the official price. So we saw another one on Friday night with Wonderful Reary, where the SP was $5.50, and nearly all the corporates were $6 by the time of the actual jump. So
it'd be annoying if you would. I mean, not that we can get it anymore with the old Bet365 SPG days and things like that. It'd be annoying. So
I want to discuss that. Okay. So like it, in my case, I haven't had a bet, whether it be a fluck or a best of the best or anything like that, for a long time.
No, nor have I.
I just use the official price just to record my results on the website. So, because I want those results on the website to reflect as much as they can the experience of the people that use my stuff. And I want them to regularly to be able to outperform it and feel good about that, because they should. Because so to me, the official price products, whether it's the fluck or in Bet365's case, they've got you can choose the fluck or you can choose what was the old SPG guarantee. I think they call it SAP now, which means you take the fixed price at the time you bet, or the starting price, whichever is
as the insurance,
whichever's higher. So I think that those products now are there really to cater for people that don't have the time to bet throughout the entire run of betting. So if you're time poor, you might have to use those type of products, because it's some reflection of the direction betting went across the whole base of betting. But people that have got time to sit down and watch the thing, it's very easy to beat the official price these days. Like, you don't have to try very hard at all.
Yeah. Well, if it was me, I'd be betting best tote, and a lot of those places for those recreational punters, you can get best tote with the price afterwards, and not fixed price by fixed price.
Yeah.
Get best tote then with the fixed price. So one tote, there's a good chance you've got 4 different dividends there to maybe hopefully catch a bone somewhere.
Yeah. So we had an email from Chris. Let's call him Chris V. He shares a name with someone who does some tipping for the Herald Sun, I think, but we don't know that it's him for sure, so we won't give his full name. And he was just saying he does all of his betting with Bet365, and he backed Mystic Journey on Saturday early in the betting before Very Elegant come out, so he took 480. After the deduction it was 453 or something, and then he's watched during betting as it's, you know, at some places hit as high as $6, on nearly all of them bet 550, and then it was heavily backed late to basically start $4 and pretty close to $4 across the totes. So the product that you bet with there, Chris, it gives you the fixed price at the time that you bet, or the starting price. So what happens in between that time when you've bet and started the race?
It means nothing.
It means nothing to you. So the fact that in this case it did drift during that period and got the high prices, it doesn't affect your bet.
There's
so
numerous reasons why that can happen, which we know. Can be a bit of smoke and mirrors there, and
in a race like that, you wouldn't expect it to fluctuate as wildly as it did, but it was just a really great contest. The betting in that race was exciting. The race was exciting. Everything about that race was the way racing should be. It was everything racing can be. So unfortunately, Chris, that's the way it is. Now, in my case, look, what I tend to do a lot of the time, particularly in a situation like that, where you've got a very competitive race, exciting betting, people taking different angles, I'll tend to spread my bet right across betting. So I'll have some of the early price. I might look at where the situation is, race morning, again at 12 o'clock, be watching during the day, and then during the last 20 minutes when the official price component kicks in. Because I think the more you spread that out, the more likely you are to increase your average price taken.
Yeah.
And
doesn't suit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, as I said, but you need to do what I'm doing. You need to have the time to devote to that, which can be consuming. And if you don't, well then maybe what you could have done was split the bet between the product you took and the fluck.
Well, the fluck.
Yeah. So because the fluck was actually 550.
Oh, okay, the fluck.
Official
Yeah,
fluck was 550, so
that's what you got. That's the decisions you got to make.
Yeah. And it's very easy to get it wrong. So it's
very easy to get it wrong. Get it wrong more than I get it right these days. I can tell you that much.
Which is, I get it wrong a lot. That's why I tend to spread things out. That stops me getting it wrong. Badly a lot.
Got the average it out.
The only time I have all of my bet early is when I'm really confident this horse is going to be heavily backed and the price is as good now as it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I tend to get a lot of those right, but they're the exception rather than the rule. So there we go. So the official price, I would say to anyone that's, I'm aware that Racing Victoria are doing a bit of a review of it right now and how it's calculated, that 40-second rule, and the fifth best or whatever. They're reviewing those things. So anyone that's had a bad experience, I would encourage you to write to Racing Victoria. Sam Prendergast is the man there that's looking at that. So write to Sam.
Good fella, Sam.
Good fella. He gets it.
He gets it. Yeah, he's been there a long time. He was there back when I was working at the track. So a lot of experience.
So if you want to see that improve for punters, I'd encourage you to write in to push that case further, as Brett, who wrote a terrific submission to Sam, has done.
Good. The other thing hopefully they're reviewing is the MBLs. I think I spoke to Richard Irvine at the Betfair function last week. He came down and was the guest speaker, and I think he said he's having meetings coming up. I had some where they're looking at just reviewing it. Hopefully they can change it, and minimum bets can. 9 o'clock rules just means nothing now. Everyone's betting from 5 p.m. onwards, and
well, the corporates have been generally pretty good, DK. They're sort of from after scratching time. Bet365
aside, everyone else.
They're also sort of betting to the limits anyway, because they're going, well, it's going to happen anyway.
It's going to happen anyway, and just set the robots off, and which they like to do. So anyway, but hopefully that's underway, and we can get some movement on that, because they've got a good sample to look at that now. While we're talking about Mystic Journey, mate, I don't think I've had your thoughts on this. The whip rule. Raised its head there. Well, it's raised its head for a couple of reasons on the weekend. That France bringing in the rule of 5 strikes maximum for the whole run, for the whatever it is, the straight or whatever. We've got rules here in the straight that limit them. When Anthony Darmanin went way over us, has really got too excited, so he hit it 13 times in the straight, which was 8 over the limit in the last 100 or 200. Was 8 over the limit anyway. But anyway, it's drawn Matt Stewart and everyone out for their opinions that inside the bubble, outside the bubble, things like that. But I don't think we've ever heard your thoughts and what you think of the whip rule, mate.
Oh,
Probably only
I think these days it should be called a riding crop. It's an instrument for the jockey to help the jockey control the horse.
Yeah. Yep.
It's very dangerous for us people that aren't riding horses to make rules that make it hard for the jockey to control the horse appropriately. We should trust them to, use it as required. Are my thoughts. I think we should be very careful about catering to people that are never going to have any interest in racing, and their only interest in racing is to see it banned. We should pay them no attention at all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
So, Matt Stewart's a loud mouthpiece within racing because he's got the platforms to continually push his opinions within racing, and he takes his cues from largely from trainers and a few mates at the pub, it seems like. And I think if you really want to gauge an accurate understanding of how the general public views whips in racing, you probably should spend some money researching it properly, not just having a guess because a few people at the pubs that I like racing because they whip the horses. So if racing's really fair income about it, they probably should conduct a professionally managed study to really understand whether it's going to have. There's no chance that the horses are being impacted at all by this either way, whether there's a whipper or not. Like, I mean, in terms of any significant impact on the horse's welfare. Okay, so some of them need to be managed, and they would be crazy if the jockey didn't have that option available to him. Like, some of these horses are very difficult to manage. So, I guess what I'm saying is, it's been toned down so much over the years that it's not a genuine welfare issue. It's a visual issue.
Perception.
So perception issue. So if racing wants to know, will it help racing build its turnover and its image and make racing more popular and mainstream if it modifies the rules more one way or the other? They should conduct that study professionally and, in a way that actually gets to the heart of the issue, not just because of a few people's opinion. That's the way I would view it.
Yeah, all right. Well, I have been in the bubble for a long time, but now, my kids are at school and sort of meeting different school parents who I haven't met before and go to functions and things like that, and what do you do? And you sort of tell them what you do, and they're interested. Oh, geez, that's bloody interesting, right? So not one person in the last 50 or whatever, the new people I've met have ever said about the whip or anything like that. They mentioned the weird stuff because it's on the front of the paper. They want to know about your thoughts on that, and the betting and winks and everything like that. But not one person. And I know that's only a small sample, but it's not as though it's everyone outside the bubbles going, that's absolute madness,
Absolutely. And if they ban them tomorrow, I doubt very much whether it'll have any impact on winning racing and one additional customer.
Yeah.
It'll have an impact on racing. You'll have a lot of horses that aren't trying, that need encouragement. Because that's all it does now. It's one device the jockey's got to help encourage the horses. So they're doing a lot of good things these days. I mean, we still allow spurs, DK.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The difference is you can't see the spurs on the
some skill. Someone says, I give them a dig with the spurs at the top of the straight, and they said, oh shit, that's why that thing took off when but they're allowed to wear them.
Which anyway. So I just think it's a lot of noise about a bit of a non-issue. Before racing reacts to it in any way that's going to have no impact at all, except on what it'll feel like if all of a sudden you've got a lot of horses not trying and you've got race results being affected by it and so forth. That will impact on the integrity of racing. You really want it when you're watching race. You want to see these athletes exerting to their
full capacity
and seeing what they've got. So.
Yeah, that's what they said. There'll still be 8 races and 8 winners, but
it
won't be the 8 winners. Yeah, it will be distorted. Anyway, all right. I look forward to anything else from Catch Your Eye Flemington. 50 Stars or Shaboo or Mr. Quickie or She So High or
Mr. Quickie, honestly.
Angel Chivalry was a bad beat for you, yeah.
Well,
he just agreed.
It's all the horses, own doing. I mean, he's obviously feeling something because
he did that a bit of Sandown.
Second up, yeah.
He did that bit of Sandown. D-Lane said, I got it on the wrong leg, coming around the corner, and I was trying to steer him up the straight, you know. But he's still got a bit of greenness about him.
Yeah, he just cost himself the race, which was just a bit disappointing for me.
And Simon Zara called him out on it. So I'm quite disappointed in that. Obviously, he didn't let down, you know.
Mr. Quickie's another example of an ex-wheel horse gone to a new trainer and found some additional speed in his legs, really.
Oh, we spoke about that, yeah. Yep.
So, yeah,
he's a winner, though. He's a winner of the line chaser.
He's a line chaser, definitely.
Absolutely. I like that. 50 stars. Another one. Sosi Bond.
Sosi Bond. Actually, I think I had 50 stars for. I had a couple of very small bets in the race, and I did save on 50 stars. And when I saw it was Sosi Bond chasing, I thought, oh, I'm okay. Yeah. It's not for much, but I'm going to collect anyway. One of the disappointing things for me, DK, this one's worth talking about because this happens a lot, and it's part of the pitfalls of doing a set where you send it out race morning. So race morning, Oregon's day was 460. She's resuming. She's had 2 terrific jump outs where she's shown surprising early dash, and she really caught my eye. Now, when I looked at that race, yes, Clarice Cliffs was going to be popular, but I thought she was just too short, and she's not a moral, and she's got to ease a bit, you know what I mean? I thought maybe 270, something around that mark, 280 maybe. So it meant and I'd sort of marked Oregon's Day $6, and in hindsight that was an error. I should have marked her shorter. Should have marked her $5 was the maximum for her. And I was sort of looking at the price in the morning, thinking, well, it's not really going to get out to $6. There's not enough room in this race with Clarice Cliffs taking up so much percentage and being so tight. So I thought the value was in La Tigressa, and unfortunately Bo just went a bit too far back. She's run an enormous race. She paraded terribly, she melted, the hot day got to her. So she's done a few things wrong, and she's run into 4th place, and she really should have been in the placings, and the place bet there was a good bet that we didn't collect on, unfortunately. Only kept out of the money by Aristia, who's a terrific filly. Well. But to see Oregon's Day get out to $8, I mean, she was about at $8. Like I had something on her, and I just felt bad for my subscribers. I had to say maybe they did something themselves, but
the market,
I just couldn't imagine $8 when I set the set out at 9 o'clock in the morning. It just was unimaginable. Like she was 460 hard in the market. She'd had 3 days to show any weakness. There was no weakness. There was just no signs that she. The only problem was that the market was carrying 25%. And when Clarice Cliff was just so hard in the market, she in fact firmed. And she was 220 hard to get at the jump. So the market just shook a few out. Something had to give, and that's what happened. So anyway, that's part of the challenge that we're up against. So,
Newmarket and Australian Cup this week.
Yeah, terrific. Be a great meeting. So
Avilius and who we got? Osborne Bulls. They're the 2 favourites. So.
And it's very easy just to look at those races and go, well, they're 2 morals.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, when you get into it, dig into it, and you get the barrier draw, and you look at the angles and everything else, and how the track's going to play in the day, and we should do that too. Huge tick to Liam O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Very difficult circumstances, having to put 12 mil on both Thursday and Friday night. Now I walked the track on Thursday at 1:30, and when I got back in the car, I found out that they'd moved the times forward. So the meeting was going to start earlier, and I thought, well, he's going to try and get the track on Saturday how it was when I just walked it, because it was about a 3.5 and relatively even right across. It was in excellent shape, and to actually achieve that in the circumstances, just a great effort.
Sensational. Well done, mate.
So good on him. So great race this Saturday again. So a bit of a quiet week leading up. We've got Bendigo on Wednesday, is the Twilight meeting.
Oh, we've got Bendigo Twilight, right?
And it's only 7 races. Which I thought was a bit of a shock to me. So that's interesting. So, which meant I had a chance to have a quick look before I come this morning, DK, at Seymour tomorrow.
Seymour tomorrow, yes.
There is a horse I'm interested at Seymour tomorrow. So I think we should make the punters do their own research here. Let's say it's a golden switch horse. So for those that don't watch Racing Rare, that's a Mark Lambourne Pearl
of Wisdom.
Inside barrier. Disadvantage from an inside barrier, moving to a wide draw, which is likely to be helpful. So
one word. Is that horse who I'm thinking of from the other week?
Yeah.
Sandown?
Yeah. So it's doing that. So it's coming from Sandown. It's going to Seymour. Drew gave one at Sandown.
It's a golden switch.
It's on the water straw tomorrow at Seymour, and I would expect it's going to be hard to beat.
All right.
There we go.
Good.
And I haven't looked at the rest of it, so I think Moonee Valley gets a rest. We're off to Cranbourne this Friday night, so I probably won't get involved there, which is good. And there's a bit of mix, but just one thing, DK, before we sign off. One of your favourite subjects, and I'm sure we've got many viewers out there that just love her. I backed a horse yesterday, that Linda Mitro.
Yep.
I think she's had 2 1700 metre runs or something. Was back to 1590. Having its 14th run, never led in a race in its life, but Linda Meach on, and she gets it to the front. Completely controls the race, and just does not give another runner in the race a chance.
Yep.
I mean, I had a second pick,
yep.
A solid second pick, and had a reasonable bet, but so the horse was Sarkozy. I backed.
Oh, Sarkozy, old weir horse, yeah.
And I backed Strategic Phil as well. I had a top pick and had a stronger bet on it, but she just completely outrode every other rider in that race.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's a beauty.
She gets horses like that go to the front, because there were actually 3 other potential leaders in that race. It was, if you're going to pick the leader, it was 4th or 5th choice to be leader. Somehow she just got it to the front.
I must see her coming and say, oh, she's
nice Linda.
Hand up to Linda, yeah.
She's got the horse to just into a beautiful rhythm.
No, we love Linda.
She doesn't do it quite as much in town, because it's just, I suppose it's a heightened level of competition. It's harder to do.
Yeah,
but some of her rides at Kyneton and Kilmore. And
you should see her stats at Kilmore. Go and look them up. I looked them up the other day. I said, what? Oh, it's only a small sample. It was like 7 from 11 or something, or whatever it was this season.
It's a Kyneton or Kilmore. She got Gasworks. Just travelling. Like
what she did on Angelic Spirit that day,
same
thing, is letting them roll. Fit horse letting them roll.
She has got something very special. Anyway, we've gone way over time there, punters, but that's all right. Just when the show takes a bit longer to get up there. Hope you enjoyed it, punters, and we'll be back in a few weeks or so.
All-Star Mile in 2 weeks, is it? That's 2 weeks time, all right. We'll be back to that.
Sweet.
All right.
Cheers.